Thank you for staying tuned. Now, in the previous week, Nigerians in some part of the country woke up to the emergence of long queues at filling stations due to scarcity of petrol. Amid speculations, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority says the reason for the fuel scarcity in some states in the country is due to the limited methanol quantities above Nigerian specifications discovered in the supply chain, adding that the impacted products have been isolated and withdrawn from the market. However, in a late-night meeting held in Abuja, the GMD of NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, explains that the adulterated petrol was imported into the country from Belgium, with quality inspectors failing to detect the high levels of methanol it contained, first at the point of import and later at the point of arrival in Nigeria. Mr. Kyari explains that the PMS contained methanol was not detected by checks because the quality checks do not include checks for methanol percentage, adding that the cargo's quality certificates issued at the loading port. Well, joining me to understand this further again is the Southwest Regional Chairman of IPMAN, Mr. Dele Tajuddin. Good afternoon. It's good to have you join us again this Monday. We had to have you join us because we need you to talk about this issue. We've not been having people really to talk. So since you're ready to share your views and let us know what's been happening, we thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tolu, and good afternoon, viewers. It is very, very important we let the masses know exactly what is going on.
Exactly.
And that is why IPMAN is coming up to say the truth exactly the way it is.
Great. So what is the situation now at the moment?
Once again, I want to commend the MD of PPMC, Malam Isiaku Abdullahi, commending him in the sense that since the emergence of this problem, the man has relocated to Lagos, where the action is taking place, and he has been working day and night. So I commend him for that proactiveness. And a lot of meetings had been called, which I attended. Number one, a committee was set up, and they have to look at the issue. And that committee, it was agreed that there was problem of supply. Well, what do we do is to swing into action to ensure that the normalcy return to the filling stations. We identify quite all right that there was problem. And if there's problem, the next thing is to find a solution to it. So, and the solution is to ensure availability. And also, it is also very important, one of the major issues that was first done was to remove the contaminated product. You call it adulterated, but I call it contaminated because adulteration means intentionally, intentionally done. But at this point, it was not intentionally done. It was as a result of miscalculation. So, as I speak with you, I can confirm that all the contaminated product has been removed from the system.
Okay.
That is, and I challenge anybody that can come out to say that it's still having. And it was a long process, but like I said, I commend the man for doing that. It has been removed. Now, we are left with the issue of supply. The stakeholders, all encompasses, agreed that we have to work together in the interest of the country, and by so doing, we have a common objective, that is to ensure that quick restoration of product into the filling stations, which I can tell you that immediately the MD directed that all products available in any tank farm must be truck out with immediate effect. And because it's in Lagos, so he goes through all the depot and give directives. And I think as at that time, people with good product truck out. And that's why you can see a little effect of supply now. And as I'm talking to you, product has been received, especially. I also want to commend Pinnacle, who received product. I think it was on Saturday night, and they immediately, after the product has been tested, they immediately commenced loading, and they have been loading day and night. And NIMCO also is loading. ATIO is also loading. We have MRS and all other tank farms that have products. So as at now, product is coming in gradually, and in no distance time, or not before the end of this week, I think we can say that there's going to be product. But I must not forget to say this, and this is because I represent IPMAN, and this is a request from IPMAN, because with due respect to the MD of PPMC, and want to plead with him that, one, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, they are key player in the industry. Very, very key, because we control about 70% of the filling stations, both in the major town and a suburb of this country. And we are cash and carry marketer. We pay before we load. Unlike other marketers, we have to pay. There's a process of payment that we have to get our remitter paying. And so as of today, our members are having a lot of tickets that is already paid for in the system, and they are tied to individual depot like Mosemi Depot, Ibadan Depot, Ore Depot, and Lagos Satellite Depot. As I'm talking to you, we have not been able to load those products in the past 2 months. So it is telling hard on our members, because these are borrowed money from bank. So I am pleading with the MD to please do something about that, so that our members, one, can get out their money from the system, and also supply their stations. Because when we are stocked up in the system, there is no how we get another money to buy the product. Secondly, because we don't have our own depot, some of these depots, the price at which they are selling to us is higher than the government price. So it becomes very difficult for our members to access this product, buy at maybe 162, 165, and go and sell at our stations at 165. And as we all know, it is federal government that brings in this product. So in order to let us participate very well and to keep our members in business, I also want to appeal to the MD that 2 or 3 tank farms should be allocated to IPMAN in Apapa because of non-availability at government depot, so that we can also go to the depot, buy at NMPC price, and sell at government regulated prices.
That is very important. Before we go to pricing and regulation, which is very, very important, we also have the issue of compensation. People say their cars have been damaged, some engines have been damaged, and all of that. Is there anything affecting the IPMAN members too around this?
Of course.
How has this affected?
Of course, when I say IPMAN members control about 70% of the filling station in the country, what it implies that whatever happens, we share the largest either gain or loss. As of today, it happens to even my very good self in my filling stations, wherein we have to repair vehicles, we have to replace product. But what we have done is that we have asked our members to formally write to us and provide evidences, because you cannot just go to any depot and tell them that you have to come with one, evidence of payment to that company, the way bill, your time of loading, and so on and so forth. And if you have to do some repair or replace product, you come up with the number of that vehicle and the name of such vehicle owner. If you have done repair, you get receipt from the mechanic. That is the only way we can, because we cannot just go in blanket and tell them that we have made loss. So we have asked our member to do that. It's on our platform, and it has to be submitted to our office, and that is ongoing.
Okay, okay. So right now, we can be sure to say that products that are being loaded out now are up to standards. The contaminated ones have been fully contained, and all we need now is just more supply for Ipman. Is that where the position? Is that what the position is at the moment?
Yes, more supply for the country, but more importantly for Ipman, because, like I said, Ipman has the largest number of filling stations in this country. No, that is in no doubt. And fortunately, we don't have a depot of our own. We rely more on the government depot. But like I said there before, the managing director of NNPC, Madam Abdullahi, is doing an holistic renovation of the depots, and there's a price we have to pay for that. If we want the pipelines to work very well, we want the tanks to be clean and all sorts. So a renovation is going on, which we can agree to that. But however, there should be an alternative to that for us. So that's why I suggested that depots should be allocated to us across the country, in Lagos, in Warri, in Parakot, and wherever there is a private depots.
Some say this mistake is very costly. That's this mistake of contaminated products, which I also agree. And some even think that a lot should be happening at the moment. Even some say heads should roll. Some say people should be held accountable, because when things like this happen, people should be held. Do you think that if importation is opened up for people to bring in products and all of that, and there's competition in the market, issues like this will not come up?
Well, normally, if it's like this, even in a very small company, it has to be investigated. And in doing the investigation, you must be thorough and you must be fair, which I have said here that the investigation is ongoing. So you don't jump the gun until when the final investigation. Well, if it needs for the heads to be rolled, because somebody somewhere will be responsible for these lapses. But you can, even in developed countries, you cannot rule out possibility of issues like this once in a while. I think in the last 10 or 15 years, thereabout, we have never had this. So if something happened like this, I think we should not call for the head of federal government because of it. So it's normal in any situation that you have an itch once in a while like that. But it is not good for the country. It's a loss to the country. It is a loss for everybody. But I think we should learn a lesson from this. That is what is important to me.
Even the cleanup is very expensive.
It is. It is. It is. It took time. Like I said, it was. It takes a very proactive MD to quickly do that. Yes. To take the bad product out of the system. It was not easy. It was because it is the same tank that we are going to use for the good product. So I commend him for that, at least for taking that product out of the system.
So what will you tell Nigerians now? Because they want to go out filling station. All Nigerians want to see is get to the filling stations and buy clean and not contaminated fuel. Nobody will want that. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So what's your message to Nigerians at the moment?
Well, to Nigerians, I sympathize with all of us, because injury to one is injury to all. Yeah. As it affects the masses, it affects the independent marketer, it affects the filling station, it affects NNPC, it affects the federal government of Nigeria. But the good news is that it has been removed from the system. So that's one. The next thing is to join hands together and let's see how the supply can be done as quickly as possible, which NNPC is already doing. And I want to plead with Nigeria that when we are at the filling station, let us be orderly. Let us help the system. So I want to assure you that in the next not before the end of this week, I think the queue should disappear. Going by the report we have from PPMC that a lot of cargo is there, and it has to be certified, because unlike what happened before, it's not. It has to be properly certified feed before they can dispense. But we have it in good assurance that there are products.
What about your members? What about your members? Because I'm sure it's not really a good time for everyone. Business and all of that, monies and all of that being held back. What's your message to them?
I've said it that I'm speaking for my members.
Yes.
That our request from the MD of PPMC is that, one, our products in the system that we had already paid for should be, as a matter of urgency, should be released in whatever way, either going to a private depot or to be loaded in NNPC depot, where we have a little quantity of products. And that is very, very important, because if you have money in the system and they borrow money for the past 2 months, you have not loaded it, it's a great loss to us, which implies that you have closed down your business for the past 2 months. So I want our members to join hands with the executive, and want to assure our members that we will not relent in an effort until all these products are loaded as quickly as possible.
I must thank you so much, Mr. Adulterated. That is the Southwest Zonal Chairman of IPMAN, always here to give us updates and bring us up to speed with activities around the downstream. That sector, very, very sensitive, as they handle highly inflammable products. That's the way the sector too is very sensitive. I must thank you so much, and do enjoy the rest of the day. And we hope to drive into filling stations and buy fuel as much as we want at any time that we want.
We are not sleeping on that. All the stakeholders are working towards that.
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.